Welcome to 5 o'clock somewhere. This is our new show on ToutSuite.com where we hang out, get to talk about a lot of different varieties of content from food, wine, film, and technology to cocktails. And tonight I'm here with Carrie Hardy. Hello, everybody. From the Napa Valley Film Festival, Galene Vollenweider.
One more time and you'll get it all.
Vollenweider.
Yeah.
And she is the master of meat for ToutSuite. Yeah. And we have yet to really tap into Galene's expertise on that topic, and we can't wait to do that maybe on Thursday's food show.
That would be a good start. Okay. I have several things planned.
Oh, can't wait. She's amazing. And Didier Lousteau.
Hey, I'm Didier. Any questions?
Great. So we'll just get right into it. Tonight's guest is someone who you may be very, very interested in hearing the motivation behind his madness. This is Steve Dorsey, and he has the distinct honor of being the person, for me, who's waited the longest in line to watch a movie, and I'm talking, is it a full year, possibly, that you've waited in line for a movie all together, put together? So we're going to find out a lot about Steve and what motivates him, and then we're going to get on to some other stuff about Sundance, and let's just take it away with Steve. Hi, Steve.
Hi there. How are you?
Great. You're in Silicon Valley, correct?
Correct. You picked a beautiful and cold day to conduct an interview and have a show.
Yep, it happened to me.
We don't tell people in California that it ever gets cold. We have a reputation to uphold here.
Yeah, I know. It's depressing.
This is cold? I'm confused here.
Great. Well, Steve, so get us started. Tell us a little bit about your first movie, or just a synopsis of what got you into standing in line.
Oh, boy. I don't know how long I had been doing it. I guess right after high school, my friends and I started waiting in line for films, and we realized that it'd be a lot more fun and we could get better seats if we showed up the day before. So for a whole bunch of films in the late 80s and early 90s, we spent the night out in line for, I think the very first Batman was the very first one that we did with Michael Keaton, and had a great time. It was essentially a camp out, but it was very urban and odd. After that,
first one.
I'm sorry?
How many days was that first one that you stayed
Oh, just one night. Just one night. But we had a wonderful time, and we ended up doing that about 10 times that summer.
Any chaperones?
No. No.
So, Steve, what do you mean you see online, like on a sidewalk, something like that?
Yeah, correct.
Is that right?
We would wait in front of the Century.
Bizarre.
For those of you who are familiar with San Jose, we'd wait in front of the Century 21 theaters, which is it's got a huge parking lot. It's a big dome theater, very iconic. And we would we'd sit there, play cards, tell stories. It really was just like camping, just without the trees.
She had marshmallows.
When they when they announced Star Wars Episode 1, which was the prequels to the ones that came out in the 70s, we were all very excited about it, and so we decided to do it again. But this was a film of epic proportions in the geek community, so we wanted to be ahead of the game. So we decided to show up 2 weeks prior to the release of the show. And if anybody was in line, we would get right behind him. And so we're sitting there in the parking lot looking at an empty front door for the movie theater, talking back and forth, saying, well, yeah, but if somebody shows up, we'll be number 2. So why don't we be number 1? And so we walked over and we sat down. And this is with a full 14 days before premiere. About 3 hours later, another party shows up, 2 guys, and they walked over and they said, "Are you in line for Star Wars?" And we said, "Yeah." And they said, "Cool." And they sat down next to us. And it took off after that.
How old were you then?
Oh boy. I was in my early 30s, and that's all I'm willing to divulge. But, but that was already too old in a lot of people's opinion to be pulling a stunt like that. So it was really odd. At the time, I was interning at the local NBC affiliate, and I had to get work done. So I made a bunch of calls and got a microwave broadband internet connection out there in the parking lot, but we needed to plug it in. So we ended up getting a 10,000 watt diesel generator out there and parking it way around the back and chaining it to a light pole so no one would come in the middle of the night and steal it. And I brought out my Macintosh and my 3 monitors and I had a whole deal going. It was really fantastic. I had business meetings out there in the parking lot. I was leaving the line and leaving my girlfriend back at camp to hold my place so that I could drop off assignments downtown San Jose and run back.
That's fucking
morning coffee runs, and yeah, it was pretty crazy.
I think crazy went overboard with the 3 screens. Like, not only did you bring your whole Mac, but you brought 3 additional screens.
If you're gonna go all in, you know. Go big.
Okay.
Right?
Go big or go
Yeah.
home.
And you're a graphic designer?
Yes, graphic designer, visual effects artist, and video editor. And now photographer, actually. I've been doing a lot of photography work also.
What, very quickly, because you're very kind to log in with us tonight. So what is your website?
Website is www.dropletcreative.com.
Droplet Creative. Okay.
Droplet Creative, yes. And I'm also available. Just type my name into Facebook and you'll find me there.
So
yeah,
and going back to this thing here very quickly, the next group came up, the 2 guys came up, and then after that, what?
They trickled in pretty much daily after that. About 5 days before the show, we had approximately 1,000 people in line behind us.
Jeez,
Wow.
It really took off, which was great. You know, there were people walking around dressed in robes like Jedis and stuff, and I love the movies. I really do. I grew up with them, but I don't do that. You know, I have 3 Star Wars toys, and I didn't buy any of them. People think I just love this stuff, so they give me toys, and I don't know what to do with them. But I just think the films are great. I grew up with them. They take me back. I've introduced my children to them. They're a great part of American culture, and I share that with as many people as I can, which is why we went back for episodes 2 and 3 for respectively 3 and 4 weeks each. We ended up waiting in the parking lot for a full month for episode 3.
How many taste menus did you collect during this time? I mean, and did they deliver food to you? Because, I mean...
Ooh, that's a great...
We had a lot of pizzas delivered. A lot. Fortunately, there was a 24-hour cafe right there in the parking lot, and people spent a lot of time there with takeout food. There was a morning coffee run every morning. I mean, it kept us alive.
Okay, and to ask, to me, an even more important question, where was the closest bathroom?
That would be the 24-hour cafe. And yeah, people worked in shifts to go home and shower and watch each other's spots in line. A culture developed. It takes a village, right? Well, we were the village.
It's like a local Burning Man kind of thing, sort of. Like...
Yeah, a little bit. It was archaic in that way. I brought my Weber out. We were barbecuing right there in the parking lot. I mean,
Did you have any issue for the authorities and because this is so many people in one place like for so long? I mean, I can see like the cops coming up and just wondering what the hell is going on there.
Yeah, loitering or any kind of issue like that.
Yeah.
Well, nerds categorically are a pretty peaceful group, so there wasn't any trouble to speak of. There were 1 or 2 noise complaints, and so we kept it down. But the police came by several times a day, and we actually made friends with them. You know, they'd come out and have lunch with us right there in the parking lot, and we chatted up. And yeah, we had a really good time. We were all over the press. We had people from local news establishments and national news establishments coming out and interviewing us. We were in all the papers and things like that. I think we were the longest line for episode 1 in America.
I mean, that you're essentially your own marketing driving force for these films. You know, you're doing it yourself, and you're generating a want for people that are like, okay, what is he standing in line for, and how can I get some? You know, so it's
pretty much.
And that's how it grew for you, I imagine.
Exactly, and that's why for episode 2, I tried to harness some of that, and I got sponsors. So for episode 2, the internet connectivity was free. The electricity was free. Those were both donated, and in return, we put up a webcam, and we put their logos on the webcam.
Nice.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
So they got a lot of, I don't know how much it paid off for them, but they got a lot of free exposure.
What year was that?
Oh, gosh.
Span.
It was funny.
Oh, don't make me remember this.
So
oh,
80?
my God.
It
was like 12 years ago. No. Let's see. 11 years ago.
60 if it was the 80s.
It was like 1994, I think, was episode 2.
So,
okay. Yeah.
But Batman was in the 80s, right?
Oh, that was in the 80s. Yeah, that was like 89, I think, or something like that. That was a long time ago.
So you guys had a tent, and how you were sleeping? I mean, that.
Yeah, I actually brought a pull-out couch, a sofa bed, because I had a tent, but sleeping on the concrete's just no fun at all. So I wanted a mattress, so I had a sofa bed, and we brought that out. It worked real well.
Well, at least you were comfortable.
Didn't you pull in? You had an event, I believe, where you pulled in a big RV and put a sheet and projected.
Yes, for episode 2, what we did is I put a request out on not Craigslist. I can't remember where I posted it, but I don't even know if Craigslist was around then. I think it was, but I said if anybody's willing to bring a box truck out so that I can hang a sheet over the side to show these movies, I'll put you in front of me in line.
Ooh.
And yeah, that's right. So
that's social media before it existed.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't just get a box truck. We got a full DJ speaker setup with big, like 8-foot speakers on either side and a huge sound system. And we set up in the parking lot, and we showed episode 1 the night before episode 2. And it was a huge hit.
For outdoor for all the people that were standing in line?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was a big family, you know. It was so much fun. And it generated a lot of positive press for the theater. And you know, we didn't create any problems. The police came out and saw that we were showing the movie, and they said, well, that's of questionable legality, but we didn't notice anything odd.
Did they notice nothing or smell nothing?
Right. There was a little bit of that, unfortunately. Yeah.
The other people in line.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure, of course.
So, Steve, what's the longest time you've ever stood in line for a film? For what?
A total of 30 days, which was episode 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Will you do it again?
Well, you know, they're releasing episode 7, They're releasing episodes 7, 8, and 9. They've been announced and they're in production. But I don't see myself going out to spend the night for 2 reasons. One, I just can't do that again. It just takes its toll. I aged 5 years in those, you know, I mean, it was crazy.
Because excuse me, because that was done during the winter, there was a release, or during the summer?
No, it was spring. They released on or around May 20th. So the weather wasn't that bad. It got chilly in the mornings, but it wasn't too bad. But also, theater turnout has dropped considerably since then. So for large movie premieres, I still like to see movies on opening day, but there aren't as many people out there. So, you know, if I did it again, I'd probably be the only one in line, maybe a few other people, but it wouldn't be the way it was. I don't think you can reproduce that.
Ah, very interesting.
You know, it's interesting that you see that, because I was just reading an article, and I can't recall who wrote it or where it was or anything like that, because I was probably drinking, but they were saying that the trend, you know, has gone that way, where people have stopped going out to the movies because you can stream all of this live. If not the first day, you can stream it live within the next couple of days.
Sure.
But there's a huge outcry with people that aren't happy with staying home and living their lives dormant and not being able to go out and have that social interaction. So last year in 2012, they had record number attendance in theaters because people kind of rebelled and said, no, I want to go out. I want to get popcorn. I want to get a drink. I want to see friends. So I think it's interesting that, there's almost a turn in the tide now that people are coming back and saying, no, I want to do that again.
How do you guys feel about, you remember when we used to go to the drive-in movies, or maybe you don't?
I've actually never been to a drive-thru.
I'm French, and I did here.
But you know what? We used to do that all the time, and it doesn't exist anymore. And so movie theaters possibly go in that direction. And can Steve change that? Steve can. Maybe there's a movement here, my brother.
I would love to see the drive-in theater
From the same
again. I
money.
mean, they're
Yeah, a drive-in.
a drive-in. I mean,
A drive-in theater at a movie line for a film festival, or you're the man.
Well, I'll tell you, I've got an idea that I'm playing with, and it's still just an idea. But what we might do for episode 7, which is one of the new releases that will come out in a couple more years, is rent out the theater the night before or the morning of the show, and play episodes 4, 5, and 6, which is Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. I'm sure that we could sell out 3 shows of tickets easily, but turn it into a nonprofit, charge for the tickets, and donate the money to a charity, and create some awareness for some people that really need it. And at the same time, everybody gets to come out and enjoy a movie with their best friends.
Yeah, yeah. I was picking out the charity for you already, Steve.
Hey, I saw William for a second. William,
where'd you go?
He'll be back.
What do you think?
We have someone joining us in a minute.
What do you think on the odds of finding a copy of the new release or the new film from China before the thing is even launched here in the U.S.?
Bootlegging.
Well, Lucas is a pioneer in digital distribution. Episode 2 was one of the first films that was released digitally. And that one was delivered in a truck. It was delivered on what was essentially a hard drive. But these days, what they're trying to do is deliver them over the internet, which means that he controls when that movie gets to the theater. In the past, when a movie theater would receive a film, they'd have what's called a dry run, where they'd test the film, make sure that there aren't any weak spots where it's going to break during opening day, make sure that it's all there and in the right order and things like that. And a lot of times you'd see piracy come from that one dry run, where if you had a friend of a theater worker, they'd come in with a camcorder, record the film, lay it off to a computer, and make it distributed on the internet. But that's virtually impossible pre-release with digital distribution.
How is that going to change at all? That Lucas sold to Disney, or?
No, his distribution model is going to remain in place. How mature it will become and how quickly it will achieve that level remains to be seen. I don't know if that's going to change, but he's pioneering a new way of distributing these things that is of higher quality and costs less. So I don't see Disney doing anything but implementing it.
I would.
Oh yeah, and licensing it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's we had the Napa Film Festival not long ago here in Napa, right? And that was like we had a panel of producers and filmmakers and all that, and they kind of touched the subject a little bit, and that was pretty fascinating. I mean, to listen to what I have to say, but you were leading this thing here. You were like pretty much involved into the festival the second year, and that was pretty cool.
Thank you.
I mean, you guys did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
It was super.
Yeah.
Cool.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, we had a really good time. It's a lot of work that you do all year long, and I don't know that people really understand that, you do that all year long to throw on a festival that lasts 5 days. And it's almost, people keep asking you during that time of the festival, what are you enjoying the most, or what's going on? And it's almost that you blink and it's over. So I just kept telling people I wanted to slow down.
Yeah.
I wish everybody would just slow down and, or make it last longer. So,
Yeah.
but we really had a great time this year. A lot of people came out. We had some great growth from year one, 30%. So,
Super.
the word's getting out there that people know that we have a great film festival and we have films that we're proud of. Out of, even our soft launch in 2010, we had films that showed up, as an Oscar nomination.
Mm-hmm.
So in total right now we have 7 films that have either gone to the Independent Spirit Awards or Oscars. So we're excited.
Silver Lining Playbook.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Killing it in nominations. And
Just saw that. We went out to the theater and everything was packed, so we saw that, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great
definite thumbs up recommendation. Really great film.
Jennifer Lawrence just beat Meryl Streep for Best Actress.
Yeah.
At the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
So that's pretty phenomenal.
Did you watch it?
I didn't get to see the Golden Globes.
How about you?
Of course.
Yeah.
So how do you? So Steve, stay on with us because I have a final comment and question for you. If you can, let us know if you have to go. But I have a little treat for you, I think.
All right.
Anyway, so how do you watch the Golden Globes being in the film festival business? Do you watch them the same as we do, looking at the clothes and listening and, enjoying?
You want to, but I don't know if I want to say that, but the behind the scenes that goes on, and you kind of get in the head of, how either the Academy is going to vote or how, your industry friends are going to vote. There's a trend, and that going into them, so you try to, divert your attention to what is Jennifer Lawrence wearing, or, what is, Jennifer Aniston wearing. So it's important to be able to do that and look at it as a viewer and not just as somebody who's very intimate with, film in general. Same when you go to the theater. You don't want to pick apart a film and think, oh, the score is off, or, something like that. You just want to take it in for what it is. Yeah. So
what were your highlights of the Golden Globes, if any?
I don't really know that I have any. I'm really proud that, Jennifer Lawrence took it, and I think she did a great job, and it'd be interesting to see, how that carries throughout the entire award season.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Interesting. So, before we move on to Carrie's segment, which is going to be some really great news about Sundance and some films that are going to be coming to Napa Valley Film Festival, hopefully. Yeah. We're super excited to hear that announcement. I wanted to ask Steve one final question. Do you remember one time when? Okay, I'm just going to have to tell everybody. Steve's my little brother. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
No wonder when you said brother from the same mother.
Okay.
All right.
Now, I just have to say, well, he is a very fascinating character, I have to say.
Thank you.
But I kind of think I might have something to do with the reason why you stood in line so much for Star Wars. And do you remember when we were in San Diego with Mom, and we were little, and she said we could go to a movie, and we had to agree on which movie, and it was Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
The first one. I think you were 7.
Changed my life.
But the other movie was Donnie and Marie Going Coconuts.
I remember that as well, unfortunately.
You didn't get to see it.
Actually, he didn't get to see Star Wars.
Ooh.
No,
I convinced him to watch. Oh no! And I'll tell you what, Shields and Yarnell were in it, the mime, and there was a gorilla and they had a lot of running.
God, I remember this.
Gorilla. It was terrible. It was terrible. And I apologize. I apologize officially. Because I may have sent him on this quest to be first in line.
Yeah, right. Now I had to see what I wanted to see. I mean, this is important.
I'm sorry, little brother.
This is why I'm so difficult now when I go to movies with my wife.
She tries to say, "Oh, let's see the chick flick." You're like,
"There's a lot of Rochambeau, apparently."
I've been scarred.
Like I've been there, done that.
Well, you deserve to see any movie that you want from now on.
That's very sweet. I appreciate it.
I have a question as far as film festivals go. Sundance is coming up, and a lot of people, question, do you want to go to Sundance anymore? It's a big show, it's a big production, it's so hard to get into films. And there's still people to this day that stand out there for a measly 2 to 3 hours in the snow, which is nothing compared to your 30 days. But people are doing it for 2 to 3 hours in 3 feet of snow. People are standing at our film festival, the Napa Valley Film Festival, for, you know, up to 3 hours. And you kind of hear the murmuring, and you don't really know that how you can articulate to people that this is important. This is something you'll probably never see in a theater, or, you know, that might not get distribution. How would you suggest that we could take on a message to people and say how important that is, or how special that moment is?
I would say sell the experience, because the theater going experience is, I have a big TV in my living room. I have a nice sound system, 5.1 surround. You know, I darken the windows when I watch big epic films, and it's a terrific setup. But it still doesn't beat seeing a film in a theater. You cannot replicate that experience in a home. It's just not the same thing.
Right.
And there are a lot of romantic comedies that are just as funny on the small screen and just as endearing. But when you see them in a big theater, you're sharing the experience with a variety of other people, some of which you know and some of which you don't. But it's a unique experience, and it's something that was started right here in America, and it's spread all over the world. It's a really unique experience that you can use to bring people in who might not otherwise engage. You know, let's not leave the house. Let's just wait for it to come out on DVD. No, because if you wait for it to come out on Blu-ray, you're not going to experience it the same way. It's not as much fun. It's not as social. It's not as interesting.
Well, to me, the social part of it is pretty cool. But what I hate in those movies here, this is the popcorn thing. And people eating, and the papers, and the Coke, you know.
But that's part of the experience.
No, but that's a wrong experience.
Turning it around and telling somebody to shut
If people can do that, I should be able to smoke and watch a fucking movie, you know, and I can stay home and do the same thing. We felt like, listening to this guy, blah, 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 and now it's just like, sidebar conversation where I'm trying to watch a thing. So, I mean, that's
the risk you run. But,
obviously not the right audience.
Yeah, the positives outweigh the negatives.
Yeah.
Well, that was good. Negative are pretty, we went around that very quickly, but true though. I mean, to me, sometimes like, I can believe it, and those guys coming out with, buckets of things, as big as their head, it's crazy. I mean, and just smell. It reminds me when you go into an airplane, people are bringing their own like popcorns and the food, and it smells.
Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah, man. I want to get up on the plane.
Well, you know what? I think the most brilliant thing that theaters can do to bring in people is to be able to serve beer and wine, and to have a much more upscale experience. I think the Sundance Kabuki does that in San Francisco, which was around the corner from my house. And totally changed. Like, I will be more than happy to go experience that with a little bit of a more upscale, rather than a plain experience.
Right.
A lot of the theaters that you visit in Los Angeles serve alcohol, and not only do they make it feel a little bit more social, but also it can put you in the mood for certain kinds of films. I just visited the theater about a month ago.
Oh, that's right. We're live. We can't cut anything.
Which kinds of films, Steve?
I just saw Pulp Fiction.
Bring us back.
Well, I would say Sex and the City. Sex and the City, the first Sex and the City movie. No, they were serving Cosmos at the Kabuki, and I saw it there.
Like, no.
Good.
And that was cool.
And it gets you into the experience. I threw back a shot of whiskey and brought a beer into Pulp Fiction. And it made it so much better. I mean, it's already a fantastic, brilliant film, but it really just, it's so much more fun.
Well, I don't know who all is looking online or listening, and I hope nobody does.
Nobody's watching.
I am notorious for bubbles and burritos.
Ooh.
So I take in a bottle of bubbles and a burrito to a film and just have my way. And
Yeah.
it is awesome.
Yeah.
Sometimes I
Yeah.
can't see my way out of the theater, but you know, whatever.
You know, and sometimes you hear the bottle rolling from the top. Clink, 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 you know.
That's when you run.
You have to give it credit for not eating a crunchy food.
Yeah.
So it's quiet.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
You know,
Very
and you
tight.
can pop a bottle very softly.
And
Yeah.
nothing wrong with the nice smell of carnitas.
Yeah.
You know? Different than popcorn and butter.
Great.
Oh, gosh.
Well, I think we need to get Steve out to the Napa Valley Film Festival this year and
I agree.
do a reenactment. I mean, I think Charbet would probably sponsor that, and
probably.
we can all bring our sleeping bags, and we can do something really fun with Theo.
Yeah.
Out, you know, in line,
we can
and
watch
show
it live,
people how
right?
to stand in line
And
have fun.
yeah, that'd
Yeah,
be a lot of
well,
fun.
bring your band and have some music.
Yeah,
while
what do
we're
you have with
on.
this band?
Yeah.
I got a
The
band
jack of
too.
all trades here.
Yes.
I'm in. I'm all in.
Good answer.
What kind of band is that?
Punk band. It's currently we're just messing around. It's a few guys that want to get together and play, but our goal is to write our own music and play a few gigs here and there, just to see how things go. If it takes off, it'd be fun. If it doesn't, we're still having a good time.
Yeah.
It's
That's
it's punk rock, and he's the lead singer.
I can be like a punk rock and have short hair. Don't you have like a different colors or the long hair or something like that, or something like kind of crazy growing?
When I start performing, I'll do something with it. I don't know what yet, but I'll spike it or do something wacky. And I don't know.
Hot pink. Totally can see you in some hot pink.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
So thank you, Steve. This has been great. I hope you come back and do
Thank
some more
you.
shows.
Well, stay with us until, you know.
Oh, wait.
Here to go.
Oh, Gracie just reminded me. You have a video. We should have done this earlier.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Tech TV came out and shot a segment on, I believe it was episode 2, and they came out for a day and did a whole segment on us, and then asked me to stay after, or asked me to come on their show after their segment and have a video interview with them using the webcam, which worked really well right up until they called me to get me on the phone about an hour before the show, and then about a half an hour before the show, I was sitting there on hold, and the call disconnected.
Oh, no.
And because I was on a cell phone, and so I'm sitting there waiting for them to call me back. They never called me back. So at the end, there's a little surprise at the end of the movie.
Okay.
Oh my God.
That was before ToutSuite.
Yeah, oh yes. So I can start it whenever you're ready.
Okay, one
All right.
second. I'm going to get the signal from Gracie, and then we're going to see. This is probably circa 1990 something.
But you know what?
1995 maybe?
If I were to go to the movie tonight, I would definitely bring this bottle of red wine here. This is a delicious bottle of red wine.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I will
Just we should talk about it because that's like a really good.
This is our house wine of the month, and this is a fantastic blend. Red wine is the Persistence from Reynolds Family Winery right here in Napa Valley, our good friend Steve Reynolds. Yeah. And we're enjoying it every night here at the ToutSuite Social Club. So pick up a bottle, reynoldsfamilywinery.com, and or stop by here and we'll give you a sip.
We should toast the Reynolds.
Yeah.
The Reynolds?
Here's Steve Reynolds. Cheers.
Yeah, Steve.
Steve and Susie.
Good job.
Yeah.
Cheers.
It is a kind of... Go to our website, techlive.com.
It's not cold.
Colas and Jell-O sticks are part of a new wave of interesting foods that's coming up in Thursday's Cool Stuff. It is a kind of rite of passage, lining up and camping out sometimes for days, waiting for a Star Wars movie to open. And this time around is no different. From coast to coast, the lines are long. In New York City, here at the Zeke Field, fans are braving the wind to be the first inside. And check out the anticipation in the West. Long lines in Seattle as these fans wait to be among the first to see episode 2. Here in California, a fan brought his entire office in line with him so he wouldn't miss work. We introduced him to you a few weeks ago. Our Silicon Valley Bureau Chief Jim Goldman has an update now on his ordeal and the lines growing around him.
Well, we're here in the heart of Silicon Valley, in line, online, just waiting for the premiere of Star Wars hours away. Steve Dorsey has downsized his online, inline office.
I'm Alpha Geek. I'm Uber Geek.
Power problems. Even a theater-ordered eviction made him abandon his original, impressive 3-Mac desktop setup. This is a crime.
Oh, my God.
He still runs his graphic design company from outside this San Jose movie theater using a wireless T1 tower and laptops galore.
As a matter of fact, one of my clients is coming out, and we're going to have a business meeting here in line waiting for the movie.
Wow. With the news chopper buzzing overhead, Steve's tent-city neighbors munching Star Wars chips, playing Star Wars Monopoly and Star Wars Stratego.
I finally found my best friend. The version of me that had all the cool toys.
His abilities have made him arrogant.
More humble than arrogant, Steve still shares his experiences using his webcam. Fans as far away as Belgium and Germany.
What do you know?
Some nuts, some not. Even these diehards, more Star Wars fans than all-out fanatics.
I have a fiance. I have a pet. I'm a sports fan and all that good stuff. I have a normal life.
It's not just about the movie. It's about the community that you find in line. My wife met 2 of her bridesmaids in line for episode 1.
Oh, my God.
Well, the party really gets underway later tonight when Steve and his buddies bring in a big LCD projector and a truck. They'll be displaying all 4 of the previous Star Wars episodes to everybody assembled here in the parking lot. They're even bringing in big stadium audio speakers so those movies sound as good as they look. Star Wars Episode 2 just hours away. The fun has just begun. Here in San Jose, I'm Jim Goldman. Now back to you guys up in San Francisco.
All right, thank you. Outside Century Theaters is Steve Dorsey. Steve, good to see you. Steve, can you hear us? It appears we're having a bit of a problem with the webcam, but Steve, if you can hear us, we wish you the best of luck, and be sure to enjoy that show.
Oh, they dropped the ball.
No. Yeah, could have gone better, but could have gone worse.
I think it was really great. Awesome. Fun to see that again.
So now we know it really happened.
Yes, it really happened.
Well, thank you. And
what your family thought of you, like doing this thing here? Like what your parents were saying. I mean.
Oh, they question my values as much as they do today.
Some things never change.
Yeah.
Well, I loaned you your first VCR in the first when he stood in line for Batman that you mentioned earlier with Michael Keaton, and so I got a ticket to the very first showing of the very first line standing you ever did.
Yeah, that's right. I remember.
There, I didn't have to stand in line. I just had to give him a VCR.
That's a good gig.
I have a price.
Yeah.
He didn't stay angry for
I
line
was
for
very
the
happy
coconut.
with it.
Yeah.
It was awesome. So I had a little experience with that too, dropping off the star. And
Yeah.
It was amazing. So cool. Well, let's move on to Carrie and stay with us. And we'd love to. I know you have a lot of other things with the 48-hour film project and other things. So I hope you'll be back on our film shows.
Yes, just let me know. I'd love to attend. Thank you very much for having me.
Hey, come on Sunday, watch the game.
I'll do it.
Okay,
take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So we were talking about Sundance earlier and how they're kicking off tomorrow, in fact. And we actually partner with Sundance. And what's great about that is Sundance kicks off the film festival circuit for the year, and we end it in November. This year, the dates are November 6th to the 10th, so mark your calendars, get your passes now. But what we have going on Monday, January 21st, is a winemaker dinner. So we go out to Deer Park at the St. Regis, and we co-host with St. Regis a winemaker dinner for you and your closest friends. So
Deer Park, like here
in Sundance.
Deer Park in Sundance, in Utah.
Wow.
Yeah, huge dinner.
There isn't a St. Regis at the Deer Park.
Why? Because you know about the
St. Regis Deer Park / Napa Valley.
Right.
So we're doing a dinner there, 6 courses, and we're featuring all of the some Pritchard Hill wines. Schramsberg is one of them, Chapelet,
right.
Continuum, and David Arthur. So it should be a really, really good time. Tickets for that, seated 6 courses, is $225 per person, and you can call 435-940-5760 for more information and to book your reservation.
We'll have that number on our website with the archive of the show, so it'll be easy to.
How limited is the dinner? How many people? 50, 100?
100 people.
100 people?
Yeah. So we're.
Oh, it's not even. It's a nice
sit down 6 course. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see the menu.
Oh, it looks good. It looks good. We'll share that as well online.
Oh, great.
We can do that as well. If people want to do that. We can share the menu, what everyone's going to go through.
So you have a partnership with Sundance. I didn't know that. That's amazing.
It's just kind of
part of the Napa Valley Film Festival this year. It was really incredible. We had so much fun. And so what is the partnership, and what are the similarities and differences of Sundance as opposed to Napa as far as bookending the season?
Well, we actually partnered with them from, year one with the soft launch and just getting the awareness out there to, obviously, other film festival goers that love to, go to destination festivals as well. So, a lot of people who like to go to Sundance, they like to snowboard, they like to ski, they like to do those things. So we were trying to let people know that there's a film festival here that's launching in Napa Valley, that you can do other things like taste some of the world's best food or best wine. So it's a great partnership. It helps.
Yeah,
it works
covers
out.
all the bases, doesn't it?
Yeah, plus we get to go see some films. So while we're there, and we get to pick and choose what we, kind of vie for throughout the year, and hopefully we'll get some of those that we're really excited about.
All right.
So I have a question. You say you're picking and buying for the films. Are there some crossover films that play at both festivals, or are they 100% completely different from each festival?
Absolutely. Well, they could be completely different, or they could be very similar. There's always going to be some films on the circuit that stand out, that get a lot of great press, that just audiences will love and fall head over heels for. So those are the films that you obviously want to kind of capture and bring back to your festival to kind of hit that target audience and that market. So there's some good ones coming out.
So do you have a base here in California? I mean, I know one of the films I saw was A Day in California that was very specific to the state. Do you try and target films that are specific to the state, or that have a broad audience appeal?
Absolutely not. First and foremost, we're an independent film festival, so we help support independent film, and that means anything from foreign to shorts to documentaries to features, studio sneaks, whatever that is. We're just a platform for you to get your film out there.
Who's bringing the movies? I mean, there is a panel of judges that will watch a movie first and the team that, okay, this is the movie that we want to bring, or how does that go? What is the process of that?
We actually have a screening committee. Our senior programmer, Laura Henneman, she actually runs our screening committee, and she's kind of the last pair of eyes that goes through all of these films after 25 or so people have already seen them. So the first year that when we launched, we had a great turnout. Last year, we more than doubled it. We had over close to 600 films submit, which is a great turnout for year 2 of a festival. And we had an extensive, screening committee that, she gives the rundown of, what the key things are that you should be looking for. And everybody supports that with, their notes and turns that back into her. So you usually get 2 screeners per film, and then she's the final pair of eyes with also the film directors.
Is it like a free to enter, or the people?
There's a small fee if you're not a student. So a minimal fee. You go on to Without a Box and submit there. You can also find us at nbff.org and submit there as well. We actually are opening our call for entries tomorrow. So
wow!
Our call for entries. So we're accepting all films starting tomorrow. I know it says on our website maybe the 26th, but we're opening it up.
How exciting.
Just because, Sundance is opening up tomorrow too, so we want to be able to, while we're out there.
So you guys have a stop.
We don't. No, we never stopped.
Seriously. I mean, the thing you did this year was absolutely amazing. I mean, and it all came up to the last minute. I mean, that was like so many things going. I mean, that was like through Napa Valley, so it's 30 miles long, in the valley, and the wineries left and right, and just amazing thing, and that was beautiful. I mean,
it's a huge footprint.
This puzzle that came up at the last second, where here's the image.
Well, the footprint, it goes from Calistoga to St. Helena to Yountville and to Napa, and there's plenty to do in each different town.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it really, and even American Canyon. I mean, it's going across the entire Napa Valley, and if you want to experience the Napa Valley,
it's a great way to do so.
Yeah.
It's the only event that Napa Valley throws that actually encompasses all of the major towns. Yeah. Most other events drive you to one specific location and want you to do everything there. We're actually encouraging people to go all throughout the valley because, let's face it, all of our towns have something unique to offer and such a different characteristic. They're both charming, or all of them are charming. So it's nice to see, that Calistoga's laid back and a little bit more hick and, country, and St. Helena's a little bit more, refined, and and Yountville's just a late night party central.
No. It's correct. I mean, with the cameo holding fort right there.
Yeah. I mean, we love Kathy Buck. Come on, the cameo is beautiful.
No, I think you did like a great. I think you did a great job. I mean, the choreography of all those vendors and people coming up and sponsors and take care of the stars coming up here. That was just magnificent.
And it was amazing how it could just really hang out with the famous ones.
They're really
they were walking down the street.
So, who is the most important critic person you met this year?
The critic, the most important critic?
No.
Craziest.
Craziest.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's very crazy, but I was really, really stoked to meet Joe Chisholm.
Who's that?
He is actually a director, writer, and he, is actually based out of Fairfield, which is, just over our ridge in Green Valley. So it was actually interesting for him. He came in last minute, and he was our jury president. And he's just, a really outgoing guy, and we're actually going to be working to get him on the show.
Oh, great. He'll be here on 5 o'clock somewhere film night.
Exactly. No, he's older. I think he's in his late 40s, early 50s.
He's your age.
Excuse me? Oh, gosh. No, he's awesome though. But he totally just loved that. Yeah. But it was really nice to meet him. He was out and just really had a great time and said that, this is just definitely going to be the next big thing. So, it was nice to have that affirmation.
Yeah, we heard that many times because we kind of were involved in the different locations and we of course we're eavesdropping and people were really, really impressed. Yeah, this guy also from what is it, like E Entertainment?
Access. Billy Bush.
Billy Bush.
I this guy, you got to know him, but
Yeah, our festival director is Mark and Brenda Lormer. I'm friends with him. I would absolutely say yes, hands down.
Yeah.
But he's a great dude. He just likes to go out and party, and he does a great job when he's hosting and those kinds of things. And he lets loose and cuts up a rug later, in the after parties. Oh, he cuts up a rug. We had a dance off at Drosinger.
I don't get it.
They dance. One person will dance and strut their stuff, and the next person will be like, "Oh, you can't handle this," and then they go out and dance. So it was fun to see him get down. The cameras were out and having a really good time. So yeah.
No, all cameras were down.
No. You have some footage. You guys have some secret footage?
We left early. We were at that party, but we didn't dance. We had to get ready for the next day. And
the panel.
Which were really incredible. All the side things that you have at the film festival as well, like the parties and the panels and pitches and things.
That's the great thing about it. There really is something for everybody. You don't have to be a super huge film buff to come out, but if you like to, be out and hear what other people are doing, or go to parties and love food, love wine, then this is the place to be. If you really love film, this is also the place to be, because next thing you know, you're standing next to Alan Cumming. you know, and it's just how many times in the world do you get to stand next to him coming.
Yeah, and he's really relaxed and hanging out.
He is.
We're in Napa Valley after
He's
all.
a great guy.
I mean, you have to be relaxed.
Yeah.
What has been for you the most challenging this year issues that you have, and what kind of lessons you learn, and what would change for? There's a lot of questions in it. But you have 60 seconds.
I would say the biggest challenge for us is that, you know, we're a startup and we're a nonprofit and we have a limited core group of people, and all of us are super ambitious and think way outside the box and have these dreams. And it's really hard for us to all look at each other and say, okay, let's hone it back in.
Yeah.
Let's do something that can work. Because we all know that we can probably pull it off because we did it year one. But I mean, let's be realistic. We don't need to bend our backs or break our backs over, you know, something that might not necessarily work. But we're all big dreamers. We all love to see this film festival succeed and can't wait for, you know, year 3.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What did you change in the future for next year, or like that this is kind of secret?
I think maybe I can say no. I can't say no. Yeah.
Steve Dorsey will be doing a seminar on waiting in line.
Yeah, exactly. But
we got to figure that out.
We do have a couple. You know, over the past couple years, we had, you know, year 1 we had a rising star, Felicity Huffman, who was also in like Crazy. So she has a film coming out in Sundance. It's called Breathe In. And, you know, if anyone's out there is going to be going to Sundance, we highly suggest you see that film. The other one is with Imogen Poots, and she's our last year, 2012, Rising Star, and she's also going to be in The Look of Love. So we're really excited for those films. Obviously, Jobs is coming out, Ashton Kutcher starring, you know, it's all about Jobs.
That's good.
I don't know, but is he going to take his shirt off is all I care about. So.
Actually, if you're coming up, you appreciate because you're like, you know, I don't like it. Like,
he's going to be Steve Jobs. Is it a comedy or
no? It's a serious film. It is. And
well, Butterfly Effect kind of been serious.
Yeah, it is the life of Steve Jobs, and you know the ascension from him being a college student to a dropout.
Was Steve Jobs a paperboy in his lifetime? I'm gonna watch that movie just to find that out.
That's a great question. All I know is that he's a college dropout.
Yeah.
So.
But Susan knows him.
My dad told me that he was, well, I don't know if Stephen was born yet, but that Steve Jobs was our paperboy. We lived as very
I think
short.
you're making that up.
No, I'm that old.
No, you're not.
That is, well, that's part of I'm in the middle of reading his biography.
And he was
a paperboy.
Then he was my paperboy. That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah.
I emailed him, but he didn't email me back.
No, she
what?
did not.
No, I was like 2 years old when he was in high school.
Okay.
And my dad told me long time ago.
You're a brave man.
You know, in early Apple days, he said, "Oh yeah, that guy Steve Jobs."
I remember the early Apple days.
And he said, "Oh, he was our paperboy."
Yeah.
And my dad was the kind of guy who would talk to the paperboy and totally go out there and talk to him. He's Steven's dad. You saw him, geek.
I don't know.
So
I would talk the game Paperboy. You know that game that came out on Nintendo? Anybody with me? Because that was an awesome game. Until they came out with like all this other high tech.
Yeah. So I think Steve Jobs was my paperboy.
You should have Johnny Moore to talk about that.
That's cool.
Wow.
You know, talk about the game she's talking about because I don't know.
The game Paperboy.
Johnny Moore.
Oh, from Nintendo.
Yeah,
we need to do that on our tech night.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have another little. So if there's ever a Steve Dorsey trivia, Steve Dorsey, who we just had here, was a paperboy as well. However, he delivered his papers on a unicycle. I am not kidding.
A unicycle.
Yes.
That's a hard.
He wore the whole backpack and all the papers and it was the San Jose Mercury News. It was not a little paper.
Hasn't he?
Huh?
He's been kind of a performer his whole life, hasn't he?
And you see him going down on his unicycle, throwing papers.
I bet you his neighbor, his territory was very small.
It was
the Mercury
Willow
Glen,
Willow Glen, San Jose.
Yeah, but you know, his territory for that.
He probably had at least 300 papers. So we'll have to ask him about some of his other aspects of his life.
Yeah, how would he carry off?
I remember he had them all packed onto his body.
All 300.
Yeah. And I think he came back a couple more trips than most kids did.
Yeah.
What is 300? Is 300 houses?
Yeah, 300 papers. Now imagine 300 papers is
could be wrong, but I think that was the route kind of number that you had to do. Morning and night.
That was a real
Morning
thing.
and night?
Yeah.
They delivered
I
twice
believe.
a day? Wow.
We'll have to ask him
Wow.
in a future episode. So.
Yeah, it can be like, a
Anyway,
book
very
and
fascinating,
that kind
isn't
of
he?
thing. So, okay, what's up? So, what else is going on?
We're just planning for this year. We're really excited. We've got some great sponsors coming on. So there's a lot of talks, a lot of things will be changing. So
Like what?
I don't know. I can't tell you just yet.
Well, you know what?
How many
PDA.
films do you choose from?
Are we going to be
This
involved
is
in?
not the last show. Carrie is one of the co-hosts, and she's going to be revealing things.
Oh, I will.
I will. Dropping little crumbs along
Well, let me ask you.
He's a little dogmatic. Like, he's not going to give up.
Look,
Yeah.
What is your favorite movie ever?
Oh, my favorite movie ever? That's embarrassing. I can't say.
You haven't heard mine yet.
So like childhood or young adult?
No, ever.
Oh.
What film made the greatest impression on you of your favorite?
I would have to say A League of Their Own, but it's
A League of Their
Own.
Rosie
Rosie O'Donnell.
Rosie
O'Donnell,
Madonna, Tom Hanks.
Yeah. It was such a great film. It was also a very personal time in my life.
Gina Davis was my favorite character.
Yeah, I also grew up playing softball, and that the whole history that went behind, women in baseball and all of that kind of stuff really was important to me. That, and it was a double feature day that my mom and I went to, and prior to that it was fried green tomatoes, so I can't take that one because I bawled during that one. Yeah. So, but it was a great film.
I have a little one. It wasn't my favorite movie, but I went to a movie with my mom, and it was, it reminds me when you said fried green tomatoes, it was the one with Deborah Winger and
so bad at the game.
Oh shoot, Shirley MacLaine, and they were mother-daughter. And it was this great movie. I'm sure everybody will write in and tell us what it was.
It was like tweet in right now.
This movie, but the funny part was that when we left the theater, I went with my mom, and I was a teenager, so I was an older teenager at that point, and I went with my mom. We were like, teenager mom kind of issues going on.
Exactly.
And when we left the theater, I was we were both crying in the movie. We left the theater, and
So what was your movie?
But Terms of Endearment. Thank you, audience. Terms of Endearment. And the funniest thing was when we left and we got in the car, we didn't really talk that much, me and my mom, when we lived in the same house.
Either. Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, I love that movie." I said, "Me too." And she goes, "I really identified with Deborah Winger's character." And I was like, "You're so Shirley MacLaine. I mean, what are you talking about? I'm Deborah Winger. You're not the..." And then Deborah Winger had little kids, like 3-year-olds in the movie. I'm like, "Oh, that is so wrong. Like, you're Shirley MacLaine. I'm Deborah Winger." Like, completely. So, but being a teenager, I just shut my mouth and I just drove home and I was like,
I thought another fight was going to ensue.
No, it's like that woman
What was your favorite movie? Quick, come on, chop.
My favorite movie to watch over and over again is Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite movie that changed my life and makes me cry every time is Life is Beautiful.
Oh yeah, but just one movie. You have to pick. She picked one movie only, like 10, So which one
those
is
are pretty well-known movies.
Which one is it?
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Okay. How about you, Dylan?
Out of Africa. I loved the scenery. It made the whole world opened up for me in that movie.
That's a very good movie.
Yeah. And
well, it's 6 o'clock.
DDA.
Next time, no, we have schedule. We have a sponsor.
30 seconds.
I'd like to thank you, everyone, for coming. That was fantastic. And tomorrow, this is Dylan. You'll be on the hot seat tomorrow, and talk about this big fantastic. We're looking forward to that.
Do you have a sneak on what you're going to give us and feed us?
It's going to have a Cajun theme.
Ooh!
Les bon temps roulés.
And we have a special cocktail being mixed to go with that Ian is doing for us.
Oh,
and since we are going to New Orleans, regardless of who wins this week, it will be It will be down south, and some really good.
So some Super Bowl appetizers and a cocktail to go with it, so everybody can be prepared for the Super Bowl parties.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which, by the way, on Sunday, we'll be live streaming with friends from the 49ers here. We're going to do like a barbecue, noon, logging. Let's watch the game all together. Let's comment on the game and talk about whatever we want to talk about. And just, all in peace and all happy.
I'll be at the game.
You're going to be at the game? No way.
I'm going to be at the game.
Oh,
my gosh. No, the Niner game. It's home.
No, that's in Atlanta.
No, it's home.
No, this is you're going to Georgia.
No, we're not.
Yes. You're going to Georgia.
Wait, Seattle didn't win?
No. All right.
Okay.
So you can come here like a login from the stadium.
Bring everybody here. We're gonna be simulcasting.
Yes,
the
it's gonna be like a
game
fantastic
with
meatballs and sandwiches. And
yeah, I'm
Okay.
making my special meatballs. Yeah.
So anyway, thank you very much until tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock somewhere, and I will Dylan, leader in charge.
Yeah, and thanks Steve Dorsey, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Good night.
All right, thanks everybody.
Cheers.
All right,
Number 3.
and